In schools across the country today, many wonderful teachers truly believe that all children can learn, but students are still falling behind. With levels of rigor increasing, we need better ways to track growth, assess data, and creatively try new things. Response to intervention, RTI, is an absolute essential part of education today, but there's a very limited amount of products that address it very well. When I was a special education teacher a few years ago, I began to develop an RTI system, a guide. It was a basic set of protocols to identify and intervene on students that were having trouble behaviorally or academically. The system worked pretty well to address the needs of students at my school, so I began to give workshops and lectures on differentiation, teaching, and RTI. And when speaking on RTI, the same question kept popping up. What do you use to track interventions? Well, there was never really a very good answer. It was always either spreadsheets, tables, teachers were using paper tracking. It wasn't good. So not being satisfied with any of the options out there, I set out to develop my own. I teamed up with a creative RTI expert on my team and a brilliant web designer, and together we created the system Interventions on Track. Interventions on Track is a system that has the capability to use the school's native data to identify and recommend a student for early intervention. It uses sophisticated algorithms to analyze everything from lateness to homework and quiz grades, and then it compiles a complete and academic behavioral evidence board for each student. It will alert the teacher if a student has fallen behind, assuring that no student can slip through the cracks. Then, once the system has identified the need, it actually makes recommendations for Tier 1 interventions. This is partly to address new teachers not always knowing what to do, or quite being prepared in their first few years. It was also a feature created to save time. Having been a teacher myself, I completely understand the feeling of being overwhelmed. Just imagine you're now responsible for 25 kids all at once, and also responsible for making sure they learn, pass high-stakes tests, have all their social and emotional needs met, while also making sure that they're happy and that you've addressed all their needs as individuals. This feature of the system not only makes database recommendations for interventions to try, but it'll guide the teacher on how to implement that intervention if needed, with training videos and lesson creation support. Teacher attrition, burnout, and competence is an enormous issue in education today. We need our best and brightest to be prepared and have all the tools needed. Many excellent university programs give teachers great pedagogy, but when it comes to on-the-ground experience, teachers are never quite prepared for their first year. This is precisely why another great feature is reviews and recommendations for interventions from teachers that have been deep in the trenches for years and know what works. Interventions on Track will identify need, track all tiers of intervention, track special education goals, ESL goals, behavioral and attendance goals, and so on. It's even set to identify students excelling and in need of a possible gifted and challenging intervention. It's the gradebook for things that don't fit well into traditional gradebooks. It can track and analyze data from every content area, every left field creative idea a teacher can try. Try attempting to track the use of a stress ball in your typical gradebook. You just can't do it. This system also is being created to track and compile every artifact from the student experience. Teachers can make all parent communications right within the system. You can make calls, emails, and everything's logged directly into a student's activity feed for easy accessibility. It also handles all referrals to the Committee on Special Education as well. The most important aspect in creating the system was usability. If a teacher can't enter, track, and analyze data easily, they just won't use it. So the challenge was to make it as simple as possible and to make it as simple or similar to entering a post or an update on a social media account. The result is something sophisticated, elegant, and game-changing in the world of education and in reaching all students. Funds from this campaign will be used to complete the final stages of development, marketing, and completing the final steps needed to get this system into the hands of our brilliant teachers all across the country and helping students learn everywhere. Thanks for your support.